Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Masturbators, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello, everybody. It is Sunday. It is a half an hour later than normal, but we are here. It is movie day. We're going to be talking about some movies and sharing some opinions on said movies.
Stop.
But in case you happen to stumble into this amazing show and don't know what we are, this is An Evening at the Movies, the podcast where we eat the stale popcorn, we drink the watered down sodas, we talk about all of our favorite movies and why we love them, and uh, lots of other stuff. Um, Welcome to the show, everybody's favorite co-host. Hi, co-host.
Hi. Sorry I was a little late. I was having a slight disagreement with a bottle of rosé. A bottle of sparkling rosé, and I could not get the cork out. It was like a 5 to 7 minute ordeal. I didn't think I was going to get it. I was getting pissed.
Was the funny story that you were saving for on air?
That's not that funny. I just, that's why I was
Well, no, I mean, it is funny
fighting with
considering
champagne.
the fact that, yeah.
But I got it.
Yay!
Put some muscle into it.
I'm pulling up my information as we go because
Oh,
I did not do that before we went live.
Pearl is over here growling. Ma'am, what is your problem?
Because you won't let her go live on the air with An Evening at the Movies.
She hasn't tried to get up here yet. She's just fucking blowing my shit. Why are you growling?
Yet is the key word.
She and Jack are both very upset today. Well, she's more curious than anything, but Jack is upset. He is being a little bitch diva. So we're having new furniture delivered tomorrow, new couch, like a big sectional. So today we had to take out the current furniture because George will be out of town tomorrow. So we had to do it, or well, he just left town, but so we had to do that. And we took out the area rug, and then we left my chair, but we took the ottoman, and then we took out the couch. And so I put his little doggy stairs, up against my chair, and he's just pissed off because everything's different. He's acting like he can't get in or out of the chair. And I'm like, bro, stop it. Like, he does not like change. He is very I don't know what he's going to do tomorrow when this new couch arrives. He should be happy.
Probably have a temper tantrum.
Well, I hope not, because he's peed on the current couch, and we're going to have issues if he does this here. Yeah, I found a couple of spots where I've had to get down with like vinegar and hot water to clean it out of the LVP flooring. And we're doing engineered wood in the new house, which is still somewhat water resistant, but not like LVP. So he needs to cut it out. Well, come on.
Yeah, because there's an awful lot of square footage in that house that
yeah,
he will have to, quote unquote, mark his territory in.
He needs to stop it. So they're both in a mood today.
It's not like he's 2 or 3 months old and a little puppy either.
Right. He's like 10. Oh, here she is. Say hi, Pearl.
Pearl!
Purr. Look, you're famous. You're a famous kitty cat.
Yes, because we have all the pets on An Evening at the Movies.
She is so heavy. She's like a giant baby.
Pearl's been on An Evening at the Movies. Griffey's been on An Evening at the Movies.
Yeah. Jack's been on An Evening at the Movies.
I
Kiwi might
believe.
have been.
Oh, I know Church was.
Yeah. Yeah, Church made some appearances. Oh, she's licking me. I always feel like the guy from Inspector Gadget or like Dr. Evil when I'm sitting here holding and petting my kitty.
Mr. Bigglesworth.
Freaking freezing in here, Mr. Bigglesworth. She's got
Oh,
way
good
more
times.
hair than Mr. Bigglesworth.
Just
She's so
a
fluffy.
wee bit more hair. Well, Mr. Bigglesworth had a lot of hair in the first movie, and then they went cryogenically into outer space, and Mr. Bigglesworth came back as a Rachel Green cat.
Yeah.
Go
Oh,
figure.
there she goes, climbing all over my stuff. Stay away from my keyboard. So yeah, we're uh called an audible today or
Yes, we
yesterday.
always, we always, well, we have a PhD in fucking calling audibles
Yeah.
because for those, I'm sure just about everybody knows because it's one of the hot topics in pop culture, and it's been all over social media. It's all over the TikToks, and oh my god, it's almost as freaking controversial as the Kennedy assassination at this point.
Yeah, I cannot figure this out. I'll I'll share my thoughts after you say, but
Yeah. So for those of you who may be under a rock for the last what, one,
four
two,
four days,
three,
3 days.
4 days. Well, yeah, 4 days
Anyway,
ish. Anyway, since late last week, um, legendary, iconic actor Gene Hackman passed, and his wife, and evidently a dog, passed
well, their
away.
dog, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, one, I'm saying a dog is
Yeah.
because it's one of their three dogs, I guess.
Oh,
I think nobody's officially said that the other two dogs were found on the property or not were officially theirs or not. Uh,
but there were other dogs found on the property?
yeah,
I didn't read that. Okay, that makes us even more fucking wild.
I'm telling you, I have more questions today than I had 4 days ago
Yeah,
when the
that
news
opens
broke.
a whole new set of questions cuz okay, obviously at first we thought okay, carbon monoxide poisoning. Um And then when
Yeah.
there's like, because first there's like, there's no signs of foul play. Then they're like, no carbon monoxide poisoning. So what happened to them? And I was like, maybe it was like a double suicide and they didn't want to leave the dog alone. So they took him too, but they were in different rooms. The wife and the dog were in
Hmm.
like the bathroom and he was in like the bedroom or the kitchen or something. So you would, it again, I don't know because I don't specialize in double suicides, but you would think they would do it all together in the same room. Like you'd think if they're going to do that, they want to go
You
out together.
think? I
And it's
mean,
but who kills someone's fucking dog? Like if
well, because
somebody kills
that's
him on purpose,
the,
who
the
does that and leaves two other ones just running around?
because the last like TikTok that I saw either last night or this morning before I finished watching this episode's movie was um so the wife was found in the bathroom that was very near adjacent to the front door of the house. The
Oh,
closet that the dog was found in, the closet, like not even out in the open, just in a closet somewhere, was in said
oh,
bathroom.
okay. I thought she and the dog were found together. Okay, I haven't watched any
Well,
TikToks about this.
well, could okay. The closet was in the bathroom that she was found in, so
Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
guessing together adjacent.
Yeah,
But if I'm understanding it correctly, he was found in a mud room at the back end of the freaking house.
that's right. The mud room. That's right.
So
So
it's like,
it's not a suicide. That makes no sense. I mean, unless they
well, no,
poisoned
because
themselves and just walked around until they died, but still.
Because that's because they said no carbon monoxide
Right.
almost immediately as soon as the news broke, and then all of a sudden the wife was found with a prescription bottle of pills all over the freaking counter near where she was found at, and again he was found at the back. Then you have the whole how long have they been dead?
Right.
Speculation is a week to 10 days that they've been
Right.
gone, and then it's even started to be brought up. What the hell have his kids been doing? Because
Right.
to
If
go
if
to
your
go
dad's
that long
95,
with
yeah,
without talking to your 95-year-old
that
dad,
that pisses me off. Are they
it's like
estranged? Because if my parents live to be that old, I'm checking on them every fucking day, maybe twice a day. 95 is no spring chicken, people. And they're living out in
no,
Arizona, by themselves,
New
secluded. I
Mexico,
mean,
but
not secluded, but they're not in the limelight anymore. So, I mean, he gave up acting
no,
however
it
long ago, and
it's not like he's doing 5, 6, 7 movies a year now.
well, he don't do any movies because he quit. But
Well, yeah, I mean, but
good for him.
now all of a sudden, on top of it, evidently the fire department's like, well, we're not 100% ruling out carbon monoxide, but we didn't find evidence of a carbon monoxide leak.
So, what are you expecting to find?
I'm like, well, we're just going to wait until the autopsy and the toxicology report comes back. And it's like,
Okay.
okay,
I mean,
toxicology could take months.
to be fair, to be fair, in the words of Jennifer, it could have been carbon monoxide, and let's say, like, there was a something going on and the gas company fixed it, so there was no evidence of it left in the house, but they may find it in their blood. So that's still a possibility, I think. I could be wrong. I'm not,
I
again,
don't
not an
know.
expert in that, but I could see if it happened and then several days went by and the gas leak stopped for whatever reason. I don't know how long it takes that to get out of the house, but maybe their sensors couldn't pick it up, but it may be in their system. So I don't know. I really hope that's what happened because otherwise this is just like fucking insane.
It's really, it's because, like, even like initially on Thursday at one point, adjective got thrown out that I either haven't heard referred to when it comes to finding dead bodies, or it doesn't get referred to very often, but mummification on
Yeah.
top of it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, more than likely, bodies aren't necessarily found, you know, that far after passing. So it's not necessarily a topic that needs to get brought
Right.
up and thrown out there. They're not in that state of decomposition yet. Normally, by the time they get to that point, they're already in the mortuary, in the morgue, being autopsied, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So,
It's crazy.
did we even say the freaking person's name that we're talking about, or did we
Yes.
just roll?
No,
We
we
did.
did.
Okay.
Or you did. Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, this one
it,
hurts. Gene
it,
Hackman, and I've said this forever, has always been one of my favorite actors. I adore him. I feel like
oh, absolutely.
he can could do anything. He just, yeah. I mean, even though he hasn't made movies in a while, it's like I just hate the fact that he's gone. But again, he was also 95, so I don't
Well,
know, it's
because
just a bummer.
like reference to the fact that our Mount Sipmore chat on Thursday when the news broke. I don't remember exactly who said what, but it's like I think it was you posted the news and some comment along with wanting to know what the hell happened, and Jen made the comment about, or it could be the fact that he was 95 years old, and it's like, yeah, I mean he wasn't fucking young,
Right.
and truth be told, and not to sound cold and callous, but he was probably on living on borrowed time anyway. But you
Right.
know, that still doesn't change the fact that we're losing way too many celebrities that mean the world to Amanda and I, and this shit has to
Yeah,
stop because I am not down for any more tragic losses anytime soon.
I know. But it's only March, so
Oh, I don't know. 20 it literally feels like the last probably what 4 or 5 years, probably since COVID. It's like we get a certain amount of tragic losses every year, and then when the new year comes, it's like, oh, here comes, you know, 2021 saying hold my fucking beer, or here
yeah.
comes 2022 saying watch this, and blah blah blah. It's like, and I know we said it about 2024, and I know we said it about 2023, and it's like it still keeps happening. And I guess this is part of the tragic reality of us getting old.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's the circle of life. Death is a part of life. It just, I mean, it always sucks, but it definitely sucks when they're younger and it's very like Matthew Perry, like, in your
Yes.
50s. That's not old. That's like, yeah. This, if it had just been him, I would have still been sad, but I've been like, yeah, I mean, he's 95, but the thought that they could have been murdered or something is like, I don't know. I'm still holding on to carbon monoxide, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. It, I'm hoping that there's no shenanigans, no outside drama, none of it. Just something tragically happened, and because of that, uh, a very talented, amazing actor and his wife and a dog
Yeah.
are no longer of this earth.
But anyway, so we were trying to decide, we were discussing movies, and I think Kasey is doing a double episode today. I am not because it's Oscar Sunday. It's my second Super Bowl after the Super Bowl. So, um
Well, it's going to be interesting too, because I can almost guarantee you, with his level of stature, he's not going to get not talked about tonight on that show.
oh yeah, for sure. My thing was, do they have time to add him to the video? And I think that they did. So, I think
He's
4
one of
days
those
is
ones that,
enough.
because of the fact that he's like a two-time Academy Award winning actor.
Yeah.
That would have been like, I
Oh,
honestly
Gene
feel
Hackman,
like,
dude.
well, yeah, exactly. I honestly feel like if news had broken this morning, that's one of those, okay, get everybody together in, the room,
Yeah.
stop, get the video, get everything. We're going to cut, paste, and tie everything together, and we'll work him into the damn video because it's
Well,
no offense to other people that have passed away, but I mean, it's Gene fucking Hackman.
yeah. Well, George and I were talking about, and I couldn't remember who it was, but there was one year where somebody did die, and it was somebody pretty big, I think. Somebody did die the day of the Oscars, and they didn't have time, so they just showed a picture of them with their name at the end. And it's like, that's all they had time to do. And so it would be a bummer if they need to give us at least a couple of clips. The other thing that makes me sad, and this is a thing I've said for years as well, Gene Hackman was always one of my old guy crushes. Like, not so much, like, after he turned, like, 70 or whatever, but even in, like, The Firm and even in Runaway Jury, I still thought he was kinda hot. Like, he was just always one of the
I was
older
gonna say,
guys that I seriously crushed on.
I believe we had this discussion back in November
Yeah.
on at least one or two episodes of an evening at the movies when we were thinking.
When we did both those movies, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Ironically,
I was hot for him. But okay, so we do need to get into the movie. So we decided to do Superman, 1978, which,
yes,
having rewatched it, I didn't realize that Gene Hackman doesn't actually have a lot of screen time, but he's still fucking Lex Luthor. So we're calling this a Gene Hackman movie. We're doing it. But before we get into it, if anybody is watching live and you're in the comments, say hi because I have a game I want to play, but I want the viewers to give us the thing to go off of if anybody's watching. So, doesn't have to
Yep.
be right now, but just if you're watching, drop us a hi, say hello, give us a like, all that.
Brandy.
I'll
So
send this to my dad too in case he can watch. But so yeah,
yes.
Superman.
Um.
Ba-ba-da,
Yes. So
la-da-da-da.
so yes, not necessarily directly a Gene Hackman movie, but at the same time, it is a Gene Hack. Well, you
It
have
is.
both sides of the equation, and technically, if you watch the opening credits of this movie, Gene Hackman got top billing over Christopher Reeve anyway.
Well, of course he did. Christopher Reeve wasn't unknown. Gene Hackman was Gene Hackman by then. I think people don't realize how far back his career goes, that even in 1978, he was a household name. I mean, he won his first Oscar before then. So, because he won for the
Yeah,
French Connection, I think.
the French Connection. I don't remember exactly what year that
But it was
came
before
out,
Superman.
but it was absolutely before Superman. The second one being for a movie that Papa Palpatine and I will be discussing later this evening on an evening at the movies. While Amanda is watching her Academy Awards, and
I am sad to miss covering this movie, but it's Oscar Sunday. So,
no, I get it, and that's one of those ones where initially the plan was to try and get Chris to join us this morning. He couldn't do this morning, and then
yeah,
he's not necessarily as much of a big Superman fan. So he was
yeah,
like, "Could we do something else?" And it's like, "Well, why don't we just do a double feature? Amanda and I can do Superman." And then he and I started talking about other possibilities and whatnot. And we threw out the replacements, we threw out the bird cage, we threw out blah blah blah. But we landed on he and I will be discussing Unforgiven tonight, which ironically
one of my
happens to
favorite
be
Metallica songs.
it, it got ranked higher than number 8.
It did. I
Spoiler
even
alert
put
that
it on my favorite 90s songs. So,
I'm
whatever. Unforgiven's a great song. Unforgiven the movie's a
not saying it's not a great song. The sequel songs afterwards, not as much,
uh,
but
whatever. And yeah, George did want to do this, but I mean, we didn't have time, or he didn't have time. But if we had done the replacements, I think he might have been like, we have to do it Saturday. Superman is his favorite superhero, though, so he did watch the movie with me and helped explain a few things that I
um,
forgot about
he, he,
because I
he,
haven't seen this
he,
movie since forever.
he did what?
He did what?
George did what with you while this movie was on?
He watched it with me. What is going on right now?
Um, what was he doing while the
Oh,
Bat burglar was climbing the building?
that's right. He did fall asleep last night while we were watching it, and he's snoring through it. And I don't know. Okay, so we're really already 25 minutes in. We need to get to it. But so it's on Max. If anybody wants to watch Max or Hulu
Yes.
with Max. And then we also have it on Plex. And I was watching it on Max, and I had to turn my volume up to like 40 to hear the dialogue. And then today I was like, let me finish watching it on Plex, and it was the same thing. So I just don't know if they haven't remastered it well enough or what. But yeah, I had to turn my volume up to like 50 because George was snoring, and it was all I could hear over the dialogue. Like, dude, go to bed. I
Wow.
can't hear the movie. So I actually missed a
Nice.
little bit last night, unfortunately, but I got the gist.
Well, I mean, fortunately for you, I've seen the movie, like my Facebook post said, 12.8 million times. So I last night, this morning, but watch this movie. So um, let's get to it because we're already, like Amanda said, deep into the episode and we haven't even scratched the surface yet. So let's see. Superman released on December 15th, 1978. It was directed by Richard Donner. It was released by uh, Warner Brothers. Freaking duh. Um, it had a budget of $55 million. What?
Sorry, I thought I heard Jack yelp. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and had a whopping box office of 300 and 300.5 million dollars.
Nice.
As Amanda said, if you haven't seen it and would like to watch it, it is available to stream on the Max. And drum roll, please, for
Okay.
Amanda, who's going to try and guess what the two stupid website scores are for this movie.
Okay.
I have a tomato meter and I have a popcorn meter.
Okay. So this is where my conundrum again with Rotten Tomatoes comes in because this movie being reviewed when it came out in 1978, I would say it scores in the high 80s both ways, maybe even 90s, because it was Superman the movie. I mean, I'm not wrong. It's the
Mm-hmm.
first Superman movie, right?
Yeah, Superman the movie is Superman 1.
So it was such a big deal, and it was on the heels of Star Wars, so it was this other big production, John Williams and all that, which we'll get into. But I just I don't know if younger people watching it now, because I found a lot wrong with this movie on a rewatch. Okay. And since Rotten Tomatoes is a fairly new thing, it's like, ugh. All right, well, you know me, I'm a ratings whore, so um, I'm gonna go audience score 87. I'm gonna go tomato meter 83.
Damn, Chansey.
What?
On 250,000 plus reviews on the popcorn meter, aka the audience meter, which you said, what, 87%?
Yeah.
It got an 86%.
Wow. Okay.
And the tomato meter on 76 reviews, it got 93%.
Wow. Nice.
So you weren't off on either of the two of them by a whole hell of a lot.
Nice.
So um, the irony of the fact that got brought up with this movie before Amanda gets to her 90-second plot description, um, with Gene Hackman passing away in February 2025. Um, all of the main stars of this movie officially have left this earth now.
I know.
Um,
And the director.
the director, Richard Donner, gone.
No.
Christopher Reeve, gone. Gene Hackman, gone. Margot Kidder, gone. Marlon Brando, long
Yeah.
gone. So, I do believe even the guy that played uh, Perry White is gone.
Yeah.
So, you know, go figure. Uh, the only other hint, hint, wink, wink special thing that I want to bring up, though, really quick, though, is the fact that Annette O'Toole, who, for those of you hardcore Superman fans know, who played Martha Kent on Smallville, plays Lana in the beginning of this
That's
movie as
Lana?
well.
I didn't know
Uh huh.
that. That's very cool. You know what I said to
So
George? I was like, "That's Lana." They sure didn't go to any trouble to make any of the future Lanas look like her.
no,
None of the future Lanas even remotely look like her. At least with Lois, they went with like the dark hair and all that, but they did not with Lana. I have not seen a redhead
no,
Lana since this movie.
no, definitely not. But that and I think for me, that's one of those things about Smallville that I definitely 100% gravitated to because there's a lot of hint, hint, or nudge, nudge,
Hmm.
nostalgia moments, not necessarily directly to Superman, but you have John Schneider, who was Dukes of Hazard. You've got Michael McKean, who was um, Vernon Shirley, Saturday Night Live, all of that. You know, he's got a deep history in Hollywood. John Glover, Michael Rosenbaum was. We'll get into Michael
My
Rosenbaum.
favorite Lex. Wow.
Yeah, we'll definitely get
So sexy
into
as Lex.
a discussion on Michael Rosenbaum before we end this episode.
Yeah,
But
Smallville was really, really good. For anybody who likes Superman or, well, I won't say the DC universe because it really is just Superman for the most part, but I highly recommend Smallville.
well, they Aquaman and a couple other of the
I guess that's true.
um, Justice League characters do pop up for brief appearances throughout. But it really is, in my opinion anyway, a solid nostalgia piece to Superman. The only hint of a negative, and I don't want to ruin it for somebody who might be on the fence to watch it, but you're going to have to wait literally 200 episodes to see Tom Welling put the damn suit on.
Yeah,
Because it don't happen until the last 15 seconds of the freaking final episode.
yeah. I know it took forever. All
So,
right. Well, I don't know how anybody couldn't possibly know, but I will go ahead and read a plot description for this movie. Even if you're not a comic book nerd, you know the basic gist of Superman. But
yeah.
just before the destruction of the planet Krypton, scientist Jor-El sends his infant son Kal-El on a spaceship to Earth. Raised by kindly farmers Jonathan and Martha Kent, young Clark discovers the source of his superhuman powers and moves to Metropolis to fight evil. As Superman, he battles the villainous Lex Luthor, while as novice reporter Clark Kent, he attempts to woo co-worker Lois Lane. So there you
Oh,
go.
yeah. And on top of it, that whole long list of deceased stars from this, Ned Beatty on top of it, gone.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So, great description. But yeah, like Amanda said, though, Superman is a huge part of the pop culture lexicon. So you don't
I mean,
necessarily have to be a comic book nerd to know the
right.
main plot points of the Superman history and Superman lore.
I mean, before Marvel went on full blast with everything, I would say that if somebody says the word superhero, Superman's the first one that pops into your mind. Probably not now because again of all the Marvel movies and all the just whatever, but I mean, I think and especially with the movie, I think Superman and Batman were the like, backbone of all these other movies that came after.
I was gonna say, yeah, Superman and Batman were definitely the first two superheroes that I was introduced to as a kid,
Yeah.
and it opened Pandora's box to learning about X Men, Fantastic Four, Spider Man,
Yeah. It's kind of like
all
to
the
me
rest of them.
Marvel is the house that Spider-Man built. I mean, without Spider-Man, I don't think you get all the other stuff we have today. I mean,
No.
unless I'm wrong, because again, I'm not a super like expert on this stuff, but Spider-Man was the first like big Marvel movie, right?
As
There
far
was,
as like old school,
yeah, old school comic book heroes, but like after Spider-Man, that's when we start getting Iron Man and like all the other stuff. Like I feel like Spider-Man, unless I'm just missing someone completely.
so okay, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies came before Iron Man,
Right. That's
but
what I'm talking about. Like the
yeah,
original first Spider-Man movie with Toby.
yeah. So those came before Iron Man. This iteration of the Marvel
Right.
universe, um, Iron Man came first, but
But do you think
there's
any of
a
this would
whole
have
big.
happened without that first Spider-Man is what I'm saying.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Yeah. So the success Sony had with the Tobey Maguire trilogy is what helped lay the groundwork for um, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Captain America,
Right.
Thor. In
But
my
anyway,
opinion, anyway,
Superman.
I could be way off, but yes, Superman. So herein, one of the funny points that Amanda and I were talking about last night. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was definitely yesterday. Um, Amanda made the comment that, "Oh my God, I didn't realize how long it took before we finally got Christopher Reeve in Metropolis." And
Atrocity. Sorry.
me, um, in agreement, I was like, "Yeah, it takes a little bit, but once you get there, the story really starts picking back up again."
I don't remember
And
any of that. Like I remember
oh,
Krypton blowing up and him going into space. I remember him landing and the Kents finding him. And then I remember him being in Metropolis. Well, no, I remember making the fortress or whatever, but I did not remember any of that middle stuff. But again, I haven't seen it in at least 15 years. I think I've seen it once since I've been with George because our first Christmas together, I got him the steel book of Superman for Christmas. So I know we had to have watched it. But again,
oh, and he
I don't
probably cried.
remember. You know what's hilarious? Sorry, quick side note. And George may be listening right now. He said he was going to try. Our first Christmas together, we had been together about 6 months. And I got him, this is how well we already knew each other. I got him the steelbook of Superman.
Mhm.
He got me the entire series of Friends. I was like, that's awesome. So, yeah.
The easy go to. Well, I mean, if it's not going to be Superman, the other easy go to movie gift for your husband's going to be Back to the Future.
Yeah. Which I have also gotten him. I got him the entire set on Blu ray. So,
True.
all
So,
right. So,
and
Superman.
your husband might be watching. We've got 30 ish people watching right now.
He was at the airport or he was on his way to the airport, but he said he was going to try to listen. So,
So, if
okay.
you're
Well, if
listening,
you're
thank you,
watching
G.
and you have the ability to comment, give us a comment so I can ask you for a favor. Okay.
Again, Brandy or Pop Mike. I don't want to talk shit and have to go into witness protection. So, but to finish the road I was going down, though,
Oh, sorry.
when I started watching, rewatching again for the 12.9 millionth time, um, I actually paid attention to the time stamp on the movie. And by the time that his taxi rolls up at the Daily Planet and he gets out for his job interview and goes inside, it's literally like 54 minutes into the movie, and this movie is only like 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
Which is a long movie for the 70s. I was expecting an hour and a half, and I didn't realize how long. Yeah. And so if we're getting into the movie, I feel like they drug along that first half a little too much. I mean, showing us the high school stuff was like, especially since we don't get, it's like it's not like Smallville where Lana comes back into his life. It's like we never see her again. Um, and I get the whole he
Till
wants to play
Superman 3.
football and his dad has to talk him down from how you can't, use your powers or whatever. I feel like that time could have been used a little more wisely. I don't know. I guess maybe just because it's old too. It was just kind of boring to me.
It, yeah,
And
I
please don't hate me.
well,
The
not at all.
I don't think the acting was good by young Clark and by the Kents. Well, the dad was okay. I feel like, especially at the funeral scene, I don't, or and when he says I have to leave, that whole scene felt so cheesy to me. Like watching it now, I'm like, I knew this time would come, son. Like it's so dramatic and so cheesy. I feel bad because I'm like, I'm sure then it was really, especially if you're a comic book nerd and know the Superman history and lore and all that. But watching
Hmm.
it now, I was like, man, can we just move on? The rest
Yeah.
of it's
Well,
cheesy in a good way though, because it's comic booky, which is what I like. We've talked about this.
true.
I like my
But
superhero movies to be comic booky, not serious. Which is why I love Batman Returns.
so the other wink wink point that I had made note to bring up too that I haven't brought up yet. Um, Not, but I'm going to bring it up because Amanda brought up the cheesy beginning half of the movie, literally half of the movie, is as far as writing goes. Did you happen to notice in the credits for this movie who is one of the writers for this movie?
Oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can't remember the name. Because last night I was like, "Really? What?" And now I can't remember, so tell everybody because I already forgot. But I do know what you're talking about because I had that moment when I was watching it.
Mario Puzo.
Yes, thank you. That was it. Yeah, George was asleep, but I
So
literally said it out loud. I was like, "Mario Puzo? What?"
yeah, for those of you who don't know, he wrote the novel The Godfather, and yeah, he and Francis Ford Coppola conspired on the script
Yeah, that's
for said
awesome.
movie. So definitely 100%. So obviously, as far as like things not to care about, Amanda didn't particularly care for the opening hour of the movie.
It was just slow. I don't know.
I I guess I can see where um you're coming from with that. For me, I I was probably I think 4 maybe the first time I saw this movie.
Yeah.
So, and I was just excited for, Superman, Superman, Superman. And I remember going over to my aunt's house all the time and she had it recorded off of TV. And like every time I went over and spent the night, I'd get up the next morning, bowl of cereal, put in the Superman movie and watch Superman all morning long. So
Yeah.
it just that whole superhero excitement, and like I said, it didn't really dawn on me exactly how long that opening ran until I sat
Right.
down and actually paid attention to it this time. And realistically, yeah, there's some stuff that probably could have been taken out and probably given more attention, maybe even to, or given, you know, like the actor we're here to discuss today, given
Yeah, Lex
him some more
very little
time
screen
on
time.
screen.
I definitely could have used more of him. He was so funny, just so like witty and just you he just really enjoyed being evil. It was just like again, Dr. Evil is modeled after him. It's just like he really liked just he took so much pleasure in just like telling Superman what he's going to do and like just again, not that I condone that, but I thought as a character it was really funny that he was just so jovial about the whole thing. Like he wasn't even like I'm a dark evil overlord, which is what we get now. He's just like I'm here to cause mayhem. Fuck it all.
Yeah. Well, like the first, my first introduction to Superman and Lex Luthor was the Super Friends cartoon that was on every afternoon after um, my grandmother's stories. And this Lex Luthor that Gene Hackman portrayed is not the same Lex Luthor that you get in that cartoon.
Yeah.
I personally think this version of Lex Luthor is the perfect version of like Lex Luthor. You get a smart, cunning, sly, sleazy ass, but yet at the same time, he makes it a very relatable character.
He's
Not
like Jack
necessarily
Nicholson
somebody
as
that
the
you're going to get.
Joker. Like
Yeah,
to me, he's like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. He's not like super serious, but when it does come time to kill people, like that, the first kill that you see him do, and he's just like, he's cold blooded. He has no qualms with killing a bunch of people, which is, like when Superman's like, you really want to be responsible for planning the death of millions of people, and he's like, no, I want to be responsible for what does he say, executing or causing the death. Like he's like, I'm not just planning it, I'm gonna make it happen.
yeah. Well, and if Miss Tessmacher hadn't quote
Taskmaster.
unquote gone behind his back, he probably would have been responsible for the deaths of a lot of people, including Miss Tessmacher's mother in
Yeah,
Hackensack, New Jersey.
she loved her mama. I love that, again, just being on the side of evil for a minute when she's like, but my mom lives in wherever it was, somewhere in Jersey. And he
Hackensack.
Hackensack, and he looks at his watch and he looks up at her and he just shakes his head real softly.
Mm-mm.
Because when I heard that, I was like, not anymore. But he didn't say that. He just like, mm-mm.
No, that's one of the, even as a kid, like a wee young pre-grade school kid, I caught that and I thought that was so freaking hilarious because he's just like, but my mom lives in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Not
And it's not even the
anymore.
fact because he doesn't even directly go into that freaking, look at his watch and he's all, he looks and then he's kind of,
And he looks up at her.
mm-mm.
He's like, mm-mm. He has some really, I will
He
say,
kind of
okay,
gets that. He's very smug.
very. He has some really good lines. So obviously we've got the cheesy superhero lines with Superman, which I am all for. I've made this clear on other reviews that if you're going to make a comic book movie, I want it to be cheesy as fuck because I feel like comic books are
Well,
cheesy in a good way.
truth,
Like that's not an
justice, the
insult.
American way. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Yeah.
With Batman, you got the pow and the kaboom and the like. I like that, and I like to see that in the movies. And no hate to like the Avengers movies and whatever, because I get it and it's cool and people love them. And but it's like I want my superhero movies to be fun, not like dramatic and heartbreaking and soul crushing. And there's room for both, but if you ask which one I
Hmm.
prefer, I'm all about the cheese. But Lex's lines aren't actually cheesy. Like he has all these quips and insults, and they're just like,
Oh,
he's like, why why the number 200 is so significant to us both? Because it's your weight and my IQ.
well, no, he treats freaking Otis like crap.
Oh, he does. He's
Not
so mean to
as
him.
not as much Miss Tessmacher, but to a certain extent her as well.
Yeah.
But no, it's like one. I think it's like the second or third time that we see all of them together. They're in that library type study
Yeah.
in his lair, and he's up on that library ladder
Mhm.
looking for doing the research on ways to
The
weaken
brough.
Superman, and he references N or M or whatever, and Otis thinks he hears the other
Yeah.
letter, so he rushes over, grabs the ladder, and
He pulls it
goes
up
and pulls it to the other side while Lex is sitting here hanging
from
off
one
of the.
arm. That's
No,
sexy.
N as in nitwit, as in nincompoop, and L as in ladder.
I love when he's like, You were followed despite your cat-like reflexes." And
Yeah,
I'm surprised that brain has enough power to keep those legs moving.
right. Well, and he,
And bye-bye, California.
mhm,
He's very funny. You know, Superman has the cute, cheesy, whatever, I don't drink when I fly, and, you know, all the cheesy shit that, like, Batman says too. I mean, I think they're both very those 2 are very much on par with the cheese level, probably because 'cause they're some of the oldest ones from the comic books, but I love it,
yeah.
so I'm here for it.
When
Um,
this Superman and Batman were definitely my introduction into the superhero world when I was a wee young lad.
right. Christopher Reeve was amazing. He is, I mean, the perfect choice. Like, you know, I don't know what other choices there would have been at that time, and he was a, you know, I was he on I feel like he was on a soap before that, but I could be wrong. I haven't researched it, but I still think he was pretty relatively unknown, but I mean,
Yeah.
the all-American good looks, the perfectly chiseled everything. His thighs are like fucking tree trunks. Like, he was just and
Oh no.
it's just perfect, but it's also hilarious that all he had to do was swoop his hair the other way and put on a pair of glasses, and nobody could tell Clark was him. That's one of the things I have always found the most unbelievable about Superman. Like, they have the same voice. He doesn't
That
even try
literally, it's
to disguise
like
it. They have the same
Clark Kent,
yeah, like
Superman.
Batman, okay, there's at least a mask, and he does like Christian Bale did a good job of like trying to disguise his voice. Where is she? But
I'm
Superman,
Batman.
yeah, there's no distinction between the voices. And it's literally just a pair of glasses and a different outfit. Like,
Well, no, that's like when they have the scene where Lois is interviewing Superman on her balcony, and
come on,
wow, she has
January.
a nice apartment on a freaking reporter's salary.
Yeah.
Um, but she's interviewing him, and they go on their cheesy romantic flight together, and then they come back, and he takes off and literally goes around the corner and shows up as Clark Kent at her door, and they're going out on their date, and he's all like, "Well, don't you want to put a coat on?" And she's all like, "Yeah." And she goes to walk in the bedroom to get her coat, and he like takes off his glasses, and he's like, "Lois, I want to tell you something." And as she's walking
Yeah.
out of the bedroom, he still has the glasses off, and then all of a sudden, just
Puts them back
quickly
on.
puts them back on. It's like, how in the hell did you not notice that, lady?
Yeah, it's so far-fetched, but whatever. It's the ruse that they keep going. Um, when they're doing the interview and I can't remember exactly what she said, but she's like, no problem seeing through lead. Okay. It just immediately took me to Megamind. He's like, I've got eyes that can see right through lead. When Metro Man becomes Music Man. Sorry, I love the
Yeah,
cross references. What am I Dang it. Oh, okay. This was when I wrote a note and I couldn't remember what I wrote that for. When Superman and Lex finally meet, he gets the ear piercing message and
The
drills
dog sig-
himself down
the,
like this through the
the
ground.
dog whistle.
He's a human drill. And I love that, like, Lex is just sitting there with a phone talking to him. He's just pressing these buttons to, like, shoot him, and it just bounces off, and then burn him, and then freeze him. And I'm like, Superman's just like walking through there with the same face. He's like, "Are you done yet? I'm getting bored." It
Like, yeah,
was funny. Um, but
you're like a fly on my shoulder, Lex.
Lex had another curveball up his sleeve. So good old
Yeah,
kryptonite.
a big old freaking hip
Yeah.
hop freaking medallion to
Right.
hang around his neck.
Um, And that was the other thing I said. So when Superman realizes, after the whole earthquake thing or the blow up in the earthquake, whatever, Lois has died. So he, gives that soul crushing scream. And then he does the if I could turn back time. So we're watching it in that part today. And he's like, turning back time. And I looked at George and I was like, okay, if he can do that, why would he not just rewind time to when he went into Lex's lair and he already knows the kryptonite is there? Game over. But George was like, he didn't rewind time for everybody, or he didn't rewind time for himself, but just for everybody else. I was like, well, that's stupid. Like, he rewound it just enough to save Lois. But I was like, I would have just rewound time back to then. I would have been like, kryptonite this bitch. But whatever, I'm
Well,
not
I mean,
George.
realistically, he could have rewound time and fixed everything that ever went wrong in the world as well. But
Well, yeah, but that's like if a butterfly flaps its wings in China, does it cause a tsunami? You can't. One change always causes another change that causes something bad. So I get that, but yeah, you could have at least stopped him from. Well, I guess he would have had to rewind it to when the bomb was set off. So then, yeah, I don't know. But he at least wouldn't have gotten kryptonited.
yeah,
Um. So yeah, I mean, so what is there? What didn't you like about the movie? I guess if there's anything, let's cover that.
for me, honestly, there isn't a damn thing about this movie that I don't. If George and I were to go head to head in trivia, I would be willing to challenge George on this movie trivia. That's
That
how much
that
I
would be
love this movie.
interesting because sorry, I'm closing my door. George is a
I,
Superman expert.
I don't know if I'm willing to trust you enough to write the question
Hey, I write good questions. I wrote you good questions for the Halloween versus Nightmare on Elm Street thing,
that I lost.
but that's not my problem.
Okay, so what color are Superman's pants? Red. I win.
Okay. Um. Oh man, I was gonna say something. I forgot.
No,
Oh
but in my opinion, though, there's if I have to nitpick, and it would be literally nitpicking to try and come up with something, it would be the fact that there's a little bit of that opening that they probably could cut back on and get rid of so that we can get the main part of the story going and
right.
get
Like
to what we're all here for.
I would have. I mean, I know that we need his backstory. Like I get that it's important, but I think that is one of the things I didn't like. Is that felt like it dragged on a little too much, and we didn't get enough of like the meat and potatoes of like. I mean, Superman and Lex have two interactions. And there's not even a
Mm-hmm.
big battle. Lex throws that necklace on him, and then you don't even see Superman go grab them and bring them to prison. It just shows him dropping them off in the yard. So it's like I wanted like a more epic
Yeah,
matchup between them, and we didn't
literally,
get
like
that.
he shows up and has the little face to face with Lois, and they're about ready to knock boots, and Jimmy shows up and he's all like, "Thanks for dropping me off in the middle of nowhere, asshole." Blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah, and you know basically Superman cockblocks him, and he's all like, "Oh, I have something I need to go take care of," and he takes off and flies off. And then the next thing you see, the very next scene is the warden sitting in his office,
Yeah.
and the alarms go off, and here comes Superman flying in, carrying Lex and Otis by the nape of the neck, and literally drops them off. And you know, the world's a much better place for you being here, Superman. And he's like, no need to thank me. We're all on the same team. Good night. And he flies
And that's
off,
the
and
end. Yeah, it's like
theme song
I
plays.
I wanted more uh, of the hero versus villain part of the story. The majority of this movie is his beginnings and his love affair with Lois. We get very little of the evil shenanigans. And granted, that last,
Yeah.
30 minutes of the movie is full of action. And so that's good. But I wish there would have been a more, which that ties me into my other complaint about the movie, and that's continuity errors and gaps. Like that's a gap in
So,
continuity. We needed to see more.
well, yeah.
And like,
So you definitely get more of that in
yeah,
the last three movies in this franchise. You
right.
don't get as much of Lex and Superman going head because, well, Lex is only
You
in
get
two out
Zod
of
and
the
his
final
minions.
three movies anyway. But yeah, you get Superman versus Zod and Lex being the master manipulator and
Yeah,
dance puppets, and
right.
then doing his little skeezy little whatever he's doing. But then Lex doesn't pop up again until Superman 4, where he's got another
That movie.
minion doing his bidding. And that was I I don't
Yeah.
even have any words to
George
describe
said
that
something about
movie.
that today too.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I would say the my two biggest complaints about the movie are that beginning is slow and that there are definitely gaps or errors with the continuity of the story. I mean, that part where they are in the ambulance and then Lex reaches back to start punching Otis, and then the next scene is they're driving a big rig. How did they change cars? When did that happen? Like that, it's so choppy, and the whole movie's not like that. So I'm not saying that for the whole movie, but I just
but
feel
at
like
the same time,
there
if
were
you stop
parts
and
that
think of
didn't blend
if
well.
they fill in those gaps, how long is that movie going to turn out to be then?
Fair, but there's other parts that could have cut. Is what I'm saying.
Well, I know. I'm
That
just saying.
flying scene did not have to be so long. I'm sorry. It was romantic and cute, but that was like just their flying,
That
I
little
think was like 5 minutes.
poem that she's thinking in the back of her mind while she's flying.
Yeah.
Can you read my mind?
Yeah, that
Blah 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 blah
at
blah
first
blah.
it was cheesy
You
cute,
just
and then it
fucking
was just
dropped me, but I'm still gonna be in love with you.
yeah.
It's like,
So,
okay, that was 12 kinds of freaking cheesy. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
it
lie.
was just too much. Like, you get like
Not
a
that
minute
I
and a
hated
half
it,
of
but
it, and then yeah, you're good. But it was just there's parts where they really could have done different things, and we could have gotten more action and more whatever. But it's 1978. It's the first one. Like I get it. I'm not. It's still a really great movie. Like I'm not shitting on it, but those would just be my two
oh no,
complaints. So
absolutely 100%. So since we talked about things we don't particularly like, is there anything in particular on a grand scheme about the movie that you love?
oh yeah, I love Lex. I love his commentary. I love his personality. I love his wardrobe. Just top notch. And I love Superman. I get, like I said, the cheesiness of it all. I love it. And he's hot. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. So and he's a hero. I mean, you know. I feel like Lex and his people, the commentary was very like, you've got the doofy guy, but him and what's her face? Looking Schleck. Tessin
Miss Nextmacher.
Teschmacher.
Yes,
Their dialogue was really cute and not cute maybe, but funny and witty and whatever. So, yeah.
Well, because she was always very sarcastic and snarky and whatever.
Yeah,
But
just always busting his balls, which is what he needed.
no, I absolutely 100% he needed it.
He's like, do you know anybody else like you that has a Park Avenue address? And she's like, 200 feet below Park Avenue. Uh,
No, but I mean, to me, like we discussed on the SIP list before when we did the Batman episode, Christopher Reeve is definitely 100% my Superman,
yeah.
like Michael Keaton is my Batman. Um, Lex Luthor is absolutely 100% my Lex Luthor.
Gene Hackman. You mean? You said Lex Luthor is my
Or
Lex Luthor.
oh well, yeah, Gene Hackman is freaking blonde moment. Um, but no, Gene
Okay.
Hackman is 100% my Lex Luthor. Um,
Do we want to do
there's
our
just
top fives or our reviews or how?
yeah. Let's go ahead and um, I'll let you go first, and you can do the top fives that you came up with.
Okay, well, I want to do the game I had real quick. So if anybody's watching and you want to say hi, I can tell you what I need from you. If not, we're just going to come up with them on our own. Okay, so I know you said you were doing two top fives, so I did two as well. The first one is my top five Gene Hackman movies, and good lord, there's so many good ones.
That I'm not gonna. That's one of my two as well. So
Okay, well, honorable mentions real quick: The Royal Tenenbaums, Welcome to Mooseport, and Heartbreakers. Heartbreakers, I wouldn't fully call a Gene Hackman movie, but his parts in it are really funny.
well, I
Um,
mean, like you said, you could necessarily not call Superman a Gene Hackman movie as well, but
right. My number five is an oldie but a goodie, The Poseidon Adventure. I grew up
mm,
watching that movie and I always loved it. So it's an old favorite of mine. Um, Number four is Enemy of the State. That movie, if you're a conspiracy theorist, especially, that movie will fuck your mind up. But he was really good in that. Um, Number three is Absolute Power, which is what I was talking to you about all weekend. It's one of those movies that nobody talks about, but it is fantastic. And it's Gene Hackman and Clint Eastwood. Like you can't, there's no way to go wrong with that. Number two is The Firm. Had a huge crush on him as Avery, and we talked. I mean, we did the whole review, but he was just so good as that character, and definitely different from the book. But he really made him very personable. And then number one is Runaway Jury, which I consider to be an ensemble. I wouldn't call it any one person's movie, but his part is big and he is cold blooded and brilliant in that movie. So, you have yours? Are you talking? If you are, I can't hear you. Lips moving, but I don't hear any talking. Wah, 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 wah.
wah, 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 wah,
There you go.
wah, wah. Um, so my number five is going to be The Birdcage,
Yes, very good.
a great movie. Number four, The Replacements.
Yep,
Number three, I'm going to go with The Firm.
nice,
Number two, Unforgiven. Number one, Superman.
nice. Crimson Tide is another amazing one. That's just not a movie I like to watch a
He's
lot,
got
but he was amazing in it.
so he's got so many movies in his repertoire that I mean, Hoosiers, Superman 2, No Way
Oh yeah,
Out.
Hoosiers.
I totally had forgotten about Hoosiers. Superman 4. Blah, blah, blah.
Wait, is Hoosiers the other movie he won? No, he won for Unforgiven. Never mind. But he was nominated for
Yeah,
Hoosiers, I think.
I believe so. Mississippi Burning,
Oh, yeah. God, that movie is so heartbreaking, but he's amazing in it.
Class Action, Wyatt Earp, Crimson Tide, Quick and the Dead, The Chamber, Extreme Measures.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of movies.
So good. Yeah. So
So,
such a talented actor, and he's very good at playing the Lex Luthor
very much.
slash Avery Toller evil, snarky, sleazy bad guy.
Yes. But as Avery, at least he has some redeemable qualities, you can tell, and so that makes you almost feel sorry for him.
Yes.
And he's very charming. Okay. So the other top 5 I did was I am sorry. Fucking traffic.
Well, just think eventually you'll be at the new house and you
Oh, I
won't have
know.
traffic to deal with anymore.
We went out there yesterday and it was so quiet. All you could hear was birds and the wind, and it was just glorious. Anyway, my other top 5 that
You'll
I
have
did, what?
world champion bull riders to deal with.
Exactly. Well, he was an Olympic champion. I did my top 5 superhero villains.
Oh,
So for number 5, this was kind of a tricky one, but I'm going to go ahead and use it because he's a villain turned to hero story, but as a villain, he was fantastic. Megamind. I put him at 5 only because he does turn into the hero, and so I feel like he's not a full on villain.
yeah.
The number 4 is Catwoman. Number 3 is oh wait, one, two. Okay, my number 3 is Joker. And I pretty much like most versions of the Joker except for okay, that's not true. I only like Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger, and the one from the Batman series, who I can't remember who that was. My number 2 is Lex Luthor, and I know you're going to talk about this, but yeah, Gene and Michael Rosenbaum, top notch. And my number 1, waiting for everybody to come in with the comments. Don't hate me. My number 1's the Riddler. It's my epitome of villains. I don't care.
He's not
He's
a bad villain at all.
he's smart. He's quirky. He's yeah. Jim Carrey as the Riddler. It was a tad over the top, but again, I still loved it because that's how I like my superhero shit. Cheesy. So
True.
riddle me this.
All right. So my other top 5 that I have is um best Lex Luthor, best people who have played Lex Luthor, and there's a whole crap load of people to
I
pick
don't even know
from.
if I could name
Uh,
5 people that have played Lex. I can only think of
oh,
3 right
I,
now. Go ahead.
I have 5, and I went with the 5 most recognizable names of people who have played Lex Luthor. That way, people who are listening, like, who the hell is that? And did they really play Lex? No. So my number 5 is number 5 because his portrayal of Lex Luthor literally was him trying to rip off Gene Hackman and
Mm,
failing at it the whole time. Kevin Spacey.
yeah. uh Art from artist separating one of my favorite actors, but that is one of the worst roles I've ever seen him play.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and he can play evil so well.
He really can. That's the
7.
thing. I mean, hello, 7.
Exactly. What's in the
He
box?
reminded me of he was like it was like Kevin Spacey trying to be Lex who was trying to be Dr. Evil. It was too much.
Yes. My number 4, I'm going to go with Jesse Eisenberg, who played
Oh yeah.
Lex in the Zack Snyder
Yeah.
universe.
He wasn't bad.
No, I The middle portion of my lineup of my top five is very close and probably could flip flop back and forth. And then you have my number one and my number two. But um, number three, I'm going to go with the man who played Lex in the Supergirl TV show, which also happened to be his nephew in Superman 4,
Oh.
John Cryer,
Oh, okay.
otherwise known as Mr. Alan Harper from Two and a Half Men.
Or Ducky from Pretty in Pink. Hello.
True.
Anyway.
I was getting to that point at some. I mean, but it is what it is. Then you have so the way I'm going to go with number one and number two. I think I kind of already alluded to it earlier, but um, even Michael Rosenbaum has literally spent years chapping his lips on Gene Hackman's butt for how much of that character that he portrayed he took as inspiration from Gene Hackman and all this, that, and the other thing. And these two are so freaking close at one and two, but um, the fact that Michael Rosenbaum has even come out and said Gene Hackman is number one, Michael Rosenbaum's number two.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really fair because we only got, Gene in a couple of movies, whereas we got Michael Rosenbaum in like what, 6 or 7 seasons of Smallville. Well, actually, I don't
Yeah.
even think he was in the last season, was he? I can't remember, but I
I think he left in seven, was gone for 8, 9, and 99.9% of season 10.
okay. See, I didn't even know there were that many seasons.
It,
I watched it, but I can't
well, he
remember.
came back. He came back for the final episode, and
Yeah,
again, that's what everybody wanted
right.
was him and Clark, and you don't get it until the last 5 minutes of the damn episode.
So I would put Rosenbaum above Hackman, and here's why. Now, again, like I said, it's not fair because they haven't had the same opportunities. But I think if you dropped Gene Hackman into the situation where he's in love with Lana, and that's the only person in the world he actually has feelings for, and she breaks his heart, I can't see Gene Hackman pulling that off the way Michael Rosenbaum did. Because Michael Rosenbaum was a very cold Lex. Like he was evil. And yeah,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you got that tiny shred of empathy for him with what happened with him and Lana. And I don't know that Gene Hackman could have pulled that off. I could be 100% wrong, but that's the only reason I would say that. They're very close.
Well, that would be the one big differential that um, where Smallville differed from
Right.
the actual movies, where
Yeah, I mean, that
they
never
brought
happened.
that they brought Lex to Smallville. There's no
Right.
Lex in Smallville in
Well,
the
and they
movies,
brought
so
Lois to Smallville.
yeah, they
So,
brought a lot of people to freaking Smallville that had no inkling of any business in being in Smallville
yeah, I mean,
until they were on the
Jimmy, like,
TV show.
yeah, but and I get why they did that. That's fine. But, um, so yeah. Well, um,
So,
useful.
what are you want to give your overall rating for the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think despite its flaws and cheesiness, it is a great movie that still holds up. Christopher Reeve will always be my Superman. And yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 black rimmed pairs of glasses.
Nice. Again, I spent
Disguises. 4 out of 5 Superman Clark Kent disguises.
right.
For those that aren't watching, I'm air quoting right now.
And I spent a lot of time talking about it during my what I loved about the movie, but yeah, this is one of those introductory phases into the world of superheroes for me. It's very nostalgic, and for anybody who's been around for the last 4 years knows I'm all about nostalgia. So, I mean, Gene Hackman is a great Lex Luthor. Christopher Reeve is a great Superman. You know, it's just a great movie. It's enjoyable. It's a part of my
Mm,
childhood that I never want to lose.
yeah.
So I'm going to go 5 out of 5 bad Lex Luthor wigs.
Yeah. That wig was I couldn't even tell it was a wig. That was awesome. Well, because it wasn't. It was Gene Hackman's actual hair, but
Till the end of the
well,
movie when
yeah.
he's like, "Oh no, we'll put the bald cap on and we'll put a similar wig on you," and then, "Pata, Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of
Exactly.
our age."
Okay, well, real quick because it is 36 minutes till red carpet time. Um, I my game, which nobody wanted to participate in. Okay, that's fine. I thought we should do a 6 degrees of Gene Hackman. So
Oh,
let's each give each other an actor and see if we can get to from them to Gene Hackman in 6 steps or less.
okay.
Um, man, I should have already had one. I really thought somebody would comment. I need to. If you think of somebody first, you throw it out there, and if I think of somebody, I don't want it to be too easy, but not ridiculous. I'll go Julia Roberts. Now, while you try to figure it out, I'm going to try to figure it out. Oh, I got it
Damn.
in 2 steps. Oh, the score, the
Okay.
score. We forgot to talk about the score. Amazing. No notes. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Casey, you can do this. We've already talked about one of these movies, and we've reviewed the other one on the show. You can do it.
What the frick?
2 steps, Casey. 2 steps. You can do it. I know you got
Two
this.
steps.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I sprung this on you, and this is a hard game if you don't. The problem is, I do this in my head like all the time. Like when I'm bored, I start playing this game in my head.
Like I know what I pick.
Julia Roberts and Gene Hackman share a co star. We have
Uh
reviewed
huh.
one of these movies, and the other one has been mentioned today.
Hi, Griffey. Um, dude, what the?
Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. You want me to just tell you?
I literally just looked at his whole list of freaking movies too. Go ahead.
Okay, well, now you're making me second guess if this person is in this movie, but I know he is. Okay, yeah. All right. Julia Roberts was in Pelican Brief with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington was in
Crimson Tide.
and Tied with Gene Hackman. Boom!
Freaking. Oh,
It's okay. It's
we
okay.
talked about both of those movies. Got talked
I
about.
literally said that.
No, I don't.
I know it's hard. It's
Oh.
like, yeah. Anyway. Okay, let's see if you can get me.
Uh,
Or I
let's
guess you can just
go
throw it out. We can see
Gene.
if either one of us can.
Let's go Gene Hackman to Tom Hanks.
See, that's too easy. Unless we want to
Is
say
it?
Crimson Tide isn't allowed. Philadelphia,
Oh,
Denzel.
freaking Denzel again. Oh my god.
Okay, let me see if I can do it without Denzel. Okay. Uh, okay, so let me think. Let me think. Um,
Oh, I got another one. If you want to freaking,
uh, no,
I
I
don't
can
know
do this.
if the other one I have can be done.
I can do this without Denzel. Just let's see.
Can you do Gene and Johnny?
Oh, okay. Um, let's see. Hmm. I'm sure it can be done. Johnny Depp has enough movies that he is. I have to like really think of them all.
That's the problem, is trying to think of
Um,
everything.
let me think. Okay. Um, who did you say again? Johnny Depp? Okay.
Yeah,
Like, wait a minute, hold on. Okay. Um, son of a bitch. We may have to come back. I'm like, okay. Okay. Let me think. I can only think of like two Johnny Depp movies right now, which is stupid because I know there's a bunch more. um, okay, Johnny Depp is hard. I'm gonna go back to Tom Hanks. No, I won't. But
that's what she said.
yeah,
It's not what Amber Heard said.
yeah, exactly. Okay, this has to be able to be done. Like, uh, okay. I don't think I can do it. Was Jack Nicholson in anything with Gene? I don't think so.
So I found a website where they actually have a 6 degrees of separation generator, and I plugged in Johnny Depp and Gene Hackman, and it's obscure. There's a couple of names on it. I'm not sure everybody would know, but Johnny Depp was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Harry Dean Stanton.
Oh,
Um, Harry Dean Stanton was in Cisco Pike with Gene Hackman.
in what movie?
Cisco Pike?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Me either. So that's the 6 degrees of, and I'm afraid if I plug in the other one,
There's got to be a better way.
it's gonna directly take me to the Denzel Washington one.
Probably. This is
No,
stupid. There's got to be another way.
no,
Okay.
it actually didn't even bring up Denzel. Tom Hanks was in Bonfire of the Vanities with Troy Winbush, who was in The Replacements with Gene Hackman.
I don't even know who Troy Winbush is.
Neither do I.
Okay, let me think. Okay. The thing I have to do is I have to pick a movie and go from there. Okay, so Johnny Depp was in Platoon. So then I would go with Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen has been in a lot of movies. So who can I link him to? Who can I link Charlie Sheen to? Because then I can link him to All right, I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna post it because I know that I can do this. Is pissing me off.
So
I'm
that
who else was in Major League?
Tom Berenger, Wesley Snipes, Dennis Haysbert,
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah, I know this is a hard
Corbin
game.
Burnson.
I'm stupid.
It is, but that was fun.
Yeah. Anyway.
So definitely lots of fun. Definitely 100% rest in peace to Mr. Hackman, who, you know what? Fuck it. We haven't done it in a while, probably a couple weeks actually, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I love his portrayal of Lex Luthor and he deserves the honor as well. Gene Hackman, newest inductee into the An Evening at the Movies Icon Wing,
Nice.
celebrity style. So, um, coming up, we've got Chris and I will be here again later this evening to talk about Unforgiven. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff coming up as well. You can find us on the social medias and stay updated as to what's coming and when it's coming and how it's going to come. Hopefully, fast and hard. But
Hmm. That's what she said.
so, but thank you all to the listeners for being here each and every week. You guys are amazing. My bladder is about ready to burst,
Yeah.
so I am going to turn the microphone over to Amanda and take us out of here. And then I will see everybody else back here in a couple hours. And I will see Amanda probably not next week.
Okay. Not next week because I will be in Jamaica, but I did it. It still involves Denzel, but it's not direct. Johnny Depp in Platoon with
Okay.
Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen. Oh shit! I lost Charlie Sheen. When did I lose him on? All right, never mind. I'll message you. uh,
All
thanks,
right.
thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you come back for an evening at the movies. Goodbye.
Peace and hair grease.
Bye.